Hey, what's up, guys? New movie today. Gonna be a bit different than the usual ones that I make. Um, we're gonna talk about different tools and tubes and yeah, stuff like that. I figured out that it would be cool to make a little different movie than just a Thai movie, and I can tell you guys what I use, and probably this will help some of the new guys, the ones that have been tying flies for a long time. Probably know all of this, but yeah, kind of cool to exchange some stuff. So I'm first going to talk about some tube systems. There is a bunch of different systems out on the market, and yeah, I think I tried them all actually. Not to I don't think I lie, but maybe there is some under producers or something that produced any special stuff in a country that I haven't tried. But yeah, like the big famous ones, I've tried them all, I think. I'm gonna start off by we can talk about the FITS system. This is Mikael Frodin's tubes. He also supplies a lot of dubbing, flash, flies, tools, etc. And yeah, he has great products. I'm sorry, this is just some chewing tobacco. A fisherman has to have that, you know, has to have something to enjoy while he's tying his flies and fishing. Yeah, back to Frodin. I tied on the Frodin system for a very long time. He has a great system. I think that the tubes are a bit soft. I think somebody likes that because they have a really great. What can I say? They don't break easy. They have really soft. You can bend them really much, and fish can harass them pretty hard to like. And they still works. They come in different colors, and of course different sizes. I think the most common sizes is medium, the medium main tube, and then you have the extra small inner tube that fits, and then you have the large one fits with the small one. I think that's how it's built up. Yeah, he also makes a lot of cones that you can tie on. Here you have the TTT cone, pretty heavy cone. You just use the I think it's 1.67 or something, the inner tubes. You just use the inner tube, stick it in, and you tie on you can attach different other cones or discs or whatever. The bad thing about this system is that it's quite what can I say, like it's quite yeah, you can't match it with other systems. That's the negative side of it. Like the Futurefly inner tubes doesn't work with his tubes because they're too thick. The 1.8 is too thick for the cones and the TTT tubes, etc. So that was one of the main reasons why I switched the brand of my tubes, because I felt a bit locked with that system. He has everything you need though, but I like to tie on bottle tubes, on other tubes, and then the Freudian system didn't fit with it. So I actually had like everything of it, so I sold everything, and I actually use some of it now because some of his inner tubes are that thin and you can stretch them pretty good, so they actually fit in. I can show you. They actually fit in this. This is the old loop tubes from the 90s. They are pretty nice, heavy tubes that I tie some flies on, and I actually run out of the inner tubes that comes with them, So I use thread-ins, I just stretch them, and I use them for these inner tubes. The same with the ones that come in from the flag company, etc. I use thread-ins inner tubes because they're so tight. Yeah. That's so you can't compare, you can't connect the fit system with a lot of other systems. So make sure if you're going to stay with fits and use all the fits stuff, because that matches. Yeah. You have another producer that is the Pro Fisher. I think it's the Pro Tube system. It's called. I think it's a Danish system. I think it's Morten or something that has that system. I can't remember his name. Anyways, great system. Comes in different tube lengths. It comes with an inner tube connected to the main tube, so you can just cut it up. Just Google it, Pro Tube system. It's a great system, and they have a lot of US tubes like the Futurefly has. Different cylinders, different cone heads, discs, yeah, etc. And everything here fits with the Futurefly system because they use the same, about the same size on the tubes, and that's the 1.8 millimeter, like this one. Let's see if I can show you one. Yeah, here you got one. This is the one that's been cut off though, but this is the inner tube of the Futurefly. This one will fit with the Pro Tube system, and that's what benefits it so much, I think. I actually have one from Fredin here as well. As you can see, it's so much softer, and you can stretch it, etc. And yeah, it's way thinner, not that stiff as the Futureflies. So that doesn't fit, but the Pro Tube system, the Futurefly system, the Vineyard tubes, etc., all that fits together. And I think that there is a streamline in tube systems, and I think that the inner tubes are about 1.8, and the thicker tubes, like this one, are about 3 millimeter. I think that's the streamline in most manufacturers. So I stick to Futurefly. As you can see here, I got a bunch of tubes, probably about 200-300 tubes in here. And I use, as you've probably seen, I use the Stanton tubes very much. So the Futurefly tubes, they fit with the Stanton system because of the 1.8 millimeter, as I said. So if I'm going to tie on a Stanton tube, I'm just using the 1.8 millimeter. Whoops, I lost it. Yeah, let me pick it up. Bloopers. I just stick this in, and as you can see, it will fit. That's the benefit, one of the huge benefits. Another reason is the cones. All the Pro Tube system, the Futurefly cones, the Sean Stanton cones, etc., they fit with this system. So actually, everything is in a thread-in box here, so it's a huge mix. This is all my cones in different sizes, different colors. Mostly I use the gold, orange, chartreuse, green, black, some silver, and some red, pink, etc. And they fit perfectly to the 1.8 system. So, and when I say 1.8, I mean the millimeter, the diameter of the tube. So if I pick up a orange Stanton tube, it will fit perfectly. So huge benefit. You have the Vineyard system. They have a lot of slipstream tubes, copper tubes, etc. Here is one copper tube, 1 inch. actually connected with a 1.8 Futurefly inner tube and a Sean Stanton silicone tube on the back there, just to steer the hook. A lot of people ask me about the steering tubes. The Stanton steering tubes, it's really strong silicone material. They fit perfect on the Stanton tubes and some other tubes. I get it over the Veneer tube, but if I'm going with the old loop tubes, like I showed you earlier, like this ones, I won't be able to fit the Stanton tube. So I'm using then the Veneer silicone tube. Way more, the quality is 10 times worse than the Stanton silicone tube. This is a really soft silicone tube, and it will fit perfectly over. It breaks pretty easy as well. So, but sometimes I have to use them because the tubes don't always fit. Yeah, and you have a bunch of other, like Propellerfly. They also use 1.8, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, and I have. Yeah, there was one more thing I want to say about the tubes. Yeah, you have the steering tubes in different colors, like this one from Sean Stanton, French and Schneider. Comes in orange, yellow, red, clear, whatever. So that's what I prefer the Futurefly system, and I mix this up with all the other systems. As I said, the Fit system is a super system, but I think it has its limits with the connecting with other systems. That's why I don't use it. That's the only reason. So let's go over to the tools I wanted to show you. I have when I tie flies, I have two tying vices. I have this one from Futurefly. Super simple. That's a tube vise, only for tubes. You can change out the tubes here by just loosening this up, and you can change it with smaller tubes, bigger tubes, etc. I didn't mean tubes, but the tube needles. I mean, you can change the tube needles to smaller, bigger, etc. Depending on what type of tube you're tying on. For my hook flies, etc., I use this. This is a Regal. Yeah, I don't remember the name of it. I almost never use it. Just for the Chernobyl ants, etc. Yeah, and over to the most important stuff, I think. What type of bobbin holders are you using? Is a question I got. Okay, let me say it like this. I have one bobbin holder for each thread that I use very often. And I use a lot of different threads very often because I tie a lot of different flies. Because when a guy orders a lot of flies from me, there is a bunch of different threads that I'm using, hotspots, etc. So I'm a huge fan of the CNF holders. This is an old one with a, yeah, there is a foam inside, so the thread don't fall back when you break off your thread. So we have to use this one to stick in and pull the thread out. I use this actually for all the thread holders, so you don't have to stay there and to get your thread out. I think the Mark Pelichan is a pretty good holder. I know many people don't like it, but I actually like it. It's a good holder. Here is a TMCO, I think. Yeah, TMCO holder. Just an old bobbin holder I have. Here is the, I can't even spell the name. Sean, that's something. Yeah, it's a pretty fancy holder. You can adjust the thread strength with this one, but so you always have to have your thumb on this one when you tie it to just adjust the friction of the thread. Yeah, I use it sometimes, but mainly I use my TMCO, my CNF holders pretty much. There is just a shitty like 10 euros holder, comparing to some of the others that are about maybe 70, 80 euros. The thing is that my opinion about bobbin holders is that it should be good to hold in. You should be able to, yeah, I have one on my stick right here. This is my favorite. Just a simple, this is Team C, yeah. TMCO. So you should be able to adjust this one, like the length of this one, and it has to be it has to have porcelain in the front, so the thread doesn't break. At other holders that has just a it can be rubber, of course, but I think it's porcelain, or no, it's ceramic. I think that's the English word for it. I'm not sure. Ceramic. I don't mean not porcelain. Ceramic. You have to have a ceramic holder, I believe, but maybe some rubber or something works as well. I don't know. But I had some holders with just the metal, and the thread breaks. Yeah, breaking every time. Somebody asked me about threads that I use, so I take that in the same when we are on into the holders. I tie 95% of my flies with the Semperfelli waxed 12-0 thread. Semperfelli, here, I think I spelled it correctly, I'm not sure. It's like really, really good thread, and I adore it. I've used, yeah, here we have the TMCO, no, not the TMCO, the Benecchi thread. This is this, Frodin's threads are Benecchi threads, so they are the same producer, etc. Just a, yeah, it's a brand. I like Benecchi also. That was my favorite earlier. I tied a lot with the Vivus thread earlier, but I landed on the Semperfelli, or however you spell it. I think that's a great thread to use. It's super strong. It builds so. It don't even build at all, I think, and it's amazing to tie with. So that's my 100% go-to thread when I tie different flies. Yeah, so other tools I have. Scissors is a huge part of my deal. I use a bunch of scissors. I have like maybe 20 scissors, I guess. I have 3 scissors that I mainly use. The other ones is just stuff that I have bought, and I actually bought a new scissor every time my scissor was not sharp enough anymore. But when you buy a scissor to like 100 euros, you can't just change them out every month. That's super stupid. So I found this. This is a Fiskars. That's an international brand. So like an international producer of like shovels, snow shovels, etc. And they make like knives, scissors, etc. And this is a scissor tool, so you can you just pull it in here. You do it like this. You just do this inside it, and then it's super sharp afterwards. There is 2 different stuff in here that rolls with the scissor and make it sharper. So this is 99 Norwegian crowns, 10 euros. God, I haven't bought a scissor since I got this. So yeah, back to the scissors. One favorite that I have gotten lately is the Copter Scissor from this Italian brand, I think. Copter, they're called. They're really small, so it's kind of you have to get used to them, and when you start using them, because they're so small. But people with small hands, etc., perfect. And I also like it now, even I have kind of big hands. They are super sharp. They don't get very unsharpened very fast, and yeah, they're just super slim and really sharp, and yeah, perfect stuff to tie to use in fly tying. I have this custom scissor from a guy I know called Roger Engel Lee. It's a really cool design. I use this a lot as well when I cut stuff and etc. And then I have this Mark Petitjean scissor. Looks like a, when you go in and cut your hair, scissor, but it's a perfect scissor for deer hair, I think. It's not that super sharp. It has a butt. It's not like really sharp in front. So if you're gonna push into the deer hair, etc., and cut stuff, you don't cut that things you don't want to cut. So that's the three main scissors I use. Yeah, I always have a lighter to smelt the tubes, etc. One of my most important things is a scalpel. This is a scalpel from Futurefly, I think, but I bought a bunch of scalpels from medical equipment, and you pay way less if you do it like that. I think I have like 100 blades or something laying around, and you can just use them sometimes and you change them out. I think it's like 3 crowns each. So yeah, super cheap. Yeah, I have a measuring tool that I measure in centimeters when I tie my flies. When I get an order and a customer says that he wants a fly that's about 10 centimeters, I'm always measuring them. I have this, I tried a lot of brushes and dubbing brushes, etc. But this one from Stonefall in Italy, it's just a super simple plastic brush with a cam on it, like with a hairbrush cam. So you can brush your flies, and you can also brush up your dubbing with this little thing. Earlier I actually used an old toothbrush that I completely cut off, and I only had like a millimeter with small tops left, and that worked perfectly for me for about 10 years, I guess. This was just a random coincidence that I came over this and bought it. I have some dubbing needles, one from Futurefly here, super dubbing needle to use to whip out fibers, different hackles, etc. if they're stuck. You can also, I also use it for when you have burnt your the end of a fly and you're gonna have a cone on, and you wanna clear the clear the inner tube, so you get your line in. And I also have this Fredin dubbing needle, a bit more heavy in tungsten, I think. Pretty solid stuff, way sharper than the Futureflies, so it's easy to like pick out stuff, etc. And sometimes I use this one with super glue and with UV glue, etc. And so I want to have 2 separate ones, that one I use only for dubbing, etc. And then I have this one that I use a little all round. Yeah. I have a simple hair stacker for deer hair, bucktail, whatever. And then I have this is the Mark Petitjean whip finish. Use this a lot when I tie hook flies and yeah, trout flies, salmon hooks, stuff like that. And you've probably seen when I tying tubes that I just make a simple half stick with my hand. That's what I do 90% of the time. I have a dubbing spinner, like if you make a dubbing loop and you put dubbing or CDC or whatever, you have the dubbing loop and you attach this and you just spin it and everything will spin. So that's, I use this when I tie sea trout flies, etc. I have a marker. This is a deep hole marker ink. Actually this is meant for the building industry. It's like, as you can see, it's really long and it's waterproof, black. I make stripes on streamers, sea trout flies, etc. Super good to that. A normal normal pencil, a normal pen, or like a yeah, spiritus. I don't know what it is in English, but they often get so dry. But these ones are made for to write on materials, etc. And yeah, it's super. What else do I have? Yeah. When it comes to glue, I used 4 different things. I used the Sapagap as a super glue. It has a pencil like this. I used this for many years. Super good stuff. As a varnish or head cement, I used the Spirit River. This is it's from Benecki. Spirit River that sells it in my store. I use the Gulf UV glue. I have this in, this is the Thin Man. This is just a clear UV glue, super simple. I have that in like a bunch of colors that I attach on the back of my hooks, and so the so you make a little trigger spot there, and the wing doesn't get hanged up that easily. Yeah, and you have a UV lamp. This is a RaidSap lamp. I can charge it with my USB charger, etc. But make sure that you have the right UV lamp for the right UV glue, because sometimes the strength of the lamp can be too bad or too good for the light that you have that you use. I mean the glue. So check that out. Yeah, and last but not least, liquid glass. This is Crystal River, a product that I got hold of. This is a really old product. The English guys use this on the buzzers and nymphs and like perdigon nymphs, etc. I use it sometimes on my on the braid of my flies, and when I tie some nymphs, etc. This is a super good material. It dries in like about 20 seconds, I think. So it's a crossing between super glue and head cement, I think. But it's yeah, it's a good material. Yeah, some of you asked about, of course, yeah, I can show you this. I have a hackle tool. This is the CNF hackle tool. This is the best one I had so far. I like them small and easy, so this is what I use. I think that's about what you need for like almost all fly tying though. I have a big shelf here with a bunch of stuff that you don't need, but I can show you some. Here I have this is a CDC clap used with this. You just put the feather down there, press it down, and all the CDC fibers will spread up. And you can just grab it with this one, attach it to the dubbing loop, and use it. I use this a lot in sea-trout flies, etc. Then I have the tool I use for my Chernobyl and other out foam flies. There's a guy in America that makes this. They sell it in Nordisk fishing gear in Norway, in Oslo. I only seen it there, so yeah, go grab one. It comes in small, medium, large. This is the small one. The difference is that it's a bit of the length and it's a bit less wider than the other ones. So when you cut one, if you're going to cut up a bunch, as you can see here, this is a perfect cut from one of this. If you're going to make 100 flies, yeah, buy one. You have the foam here, you lay this under, and you just squeeze this on, and you have the perfect cut for a Chernobyl. Yeah. And if you don't have a tube vise like I do here, you can use your regular vise and attach different tube needles into the jaw of the vise, and there is a bunch there, so I can't. Yeah, I'm sorry guys, my camera went out of power, so yeah, as I said, I can't go into that, and yeah, I don't think there is that much more tools that I use. Lamps, I have, I can show you. I have this simple lamp that I bought in a store, like a tying store, with sewing store. This big lamp for my video recording, and here you go. I have a tying bag, simple tying bag from Futurefly, perfect if you're gonna go travel, etc. So yeah, there we are. If you are new to salmon fishing, or fly tying in general, or fishing in general, just look up simple flies and start tying them. That's the main, like a red tag or like a Mars Brown or just a Palmer Midge or whatever. If you're gonna tie, start with salmon flies. You can do an exercise on a sunray shadow, or even that's a hard start though. But a lot of you guys send me a lot of private messages and asks me how I make the drop form on the flies, how I choose the materials, etc. So my next movie will be about materials, actually, about why I choose this type of polar bear instead of another one, why I love the soft tackle shape like this and not with like small feathers, yeah, stuff like that. Yeah, there was one more thing I wanted to show you. If you want to dry your flies after using super glue, varnish, whatever, just take a little piece of isopor, I don't know if that's the English word for it, but, and I have some toothpicks that I attach the flies on, as you can see. Super simple. And yeah, what does it cost you? Like 5 crowns. So I hope you guys enjoy this movie, and I tried my best to explain how everything works and what I prefer, and you guys at home probably would have another opinion about tube systems, materials, but we all have different opinions about stuff, so choose what's best for you and don't listen to everybody else. Try out different systems, choose one that fits you. So yeah, fits you, that was kind of advertising for fits, I guess. No. Okay, so I'll see you guys later, and I hope you have a wonderful evening and are positive in this corona times. I'm starting to get a bit tired now of everything. Can't train, I can't train home though, but it's so fucking boring, and I can't train jiu-jitsu home, so that's what I do. So I'm looking so forward to get back to normal, and I'm in a home office, and yeah, boring. So yeah, next movie will be about materials, and I'm gonna explain the differences in the materials and why I choose them. Like material, as I said to a lot of you guys, choosing the right materials and the right amount of materials in a fly is crucial to make it look good and swim good, and yeah, and to get the perfect shape like everybody wants. If the salmon cares, I don't think so, but yeah, once you get into this madness, you want everything to be perfect when you do it. So yeah, so as I said, have a great evening guys, and yeah, I'll see you guys later.